boss, meet the new female boss of Qantas. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware and adware remain the number one threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
This doesn't sound like a conference. This doesn't sound like a work trip. And this doesn't sound like team building. Because corporate events sound different with Discovery Events. With amazing venues in special places across Australia, including in the Adelaide Hills, Victor Harbour, Nagambie Lakes, Kings Canyon and Rottnest Island. Sound good? Visit discoveryevents.com.au, your destination for premier venues in unique locations across Australia.
Jade Robran, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Welcome back to Afternoons. It is 7 minutes past 3 o'clock. It is now time to talk all things motoring with our mates from drive.com.au.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild.
And joining
Cruising
us
and
as he
playing the
does, Trent
radio.
Nicolig, managing editor from drive.com.au. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Jade. Afternoon, everyone.
Lovely to have you on the show. Let's kick things off with a question, a hard-hitting one, straight up. Prada or Land Cruiser? What's the difference? What should I go for? Is a question
That is
from
hard
Kevin.
hitting. That is hard hitting. Look, I think if you're talking about the current Land Cruiser, so the 300 series, you've obviously got a very, very new vehicle, right? It's all new. It came out middle of last year, give or take. Twin turbo V6 diesel, new automatic transmission, new drivetrain, new interior, updated infotainment. So if you compare a 300 series to a Prado, it's going to be like you're driving in another dimension. If you look at a second-hand 200 series, it's going to feel a lot more like a Prado inside because they didn't update them as much, but it's got a V8 engine. Now, the Prado has a smaller diesel engine, so a 2.8-litre diesel engine with a four-cylinder. If you look at a 200 series Land Cruiser, you get a V8, as I said, twin-turbo diesel V8. If you look at a 300 series, you get a twin-turbo diesel V6. So I think the question that you really need to answer is you would get the Land Cruiser, whether it's an older one or a newer one, if you're doing a lot more heavy-duty off-roading and a lot more towing. If you're doing regular off-road work, regular driving, and you don't do a lot of hard stuff and tow heavy loads, the Prado's fantastic. But if you do really load it up and get that four-cylinder engine working hard, it doesn't do the job as easily as the Land Cruiser will.
Okay, I hope that helps. We've got James in Collinswood on the line. Hello, James.
Hi, how are you, Jade?
Well, thank you.
Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
The question I have, and I'm sorry I've forgotten your name.
Trent.
Trent, thank you, is around Mercedes convertibles 320 CLKs. And I'm looking at the moment at sort of early to mid-2000s and convertibles. Can you give me a general rundown and anything to look for or anything that might have been a potential issue with them?
Okay, so no major potential issues. Those cars are built particularly well. They were expensive cars when they were new, and they were also very impressive when they were new. Lovely cars to drive. CLK is a great car.
Yeah.
It certainly was when it was new. My advice to you with that sort of car is pretty much, you may have heard me say this on Jade's show before, it's significantly around servicing and maintenance. So there's two things I'll tell you. One, you have to make sure when you buy the vehicle that it's got a full service history and that you know that all the servicing has been done and it's up to date. And ideally either at Mercedes-Benz or at a Mercedes-Benz European car specialist. That's the first part.
Yep.
The second part is you must always take into account that down the track, you're driving, if you're early 2000s, you're looking at a 20-year-old car. It won't matter whether it's a Toyota, a Mazda, a Mercedes-Benz, a Land Rover. You could pick any brand. 20-year-old cars are going to need some maintenance. And the thing you need to remember, if you buy a European car over a Japanese car, for argument's sake, is that the cost of certain parts is always going to be more expensive. So if you need a power steering pump or an air conditioning compressor or an alternator or suspension components, brake components, things like that, if they come up for replacement, and they will eventually at some point, they're going to cost more for something like a Mercedes-Benz than if you had a Toyota or a Mazda, something like that. So what you need to take into account, and I'm not probably telling you something that you already know, because I think if you're looking at a European car, you've got a taste for what those cars are about and the heritage of them and the fact that they're lovely cars to drive. But yeah, just keep in mind that servicing and maintenance is going to cost more than it would for a regular run-of-the-mill car that was not so much more mass-produced, but more cost-effective in terms of ownership. But aside from that, they're lovely cars to drive. They always were, and they've aged well as far as I'm concerned.
And just a quick question around the three cars I'm looking at the moment range between 120 and 160 kilometre, 1,000 Ks. Is there?
Yep.
I mean, obviously, the younger the better, or the less the better, but that's not significant one way or the other?
Not a massive difference, mate, no. I think if you said one had 80,000 Ks and the other one had 280,000 Ks, then yeah, sure. But I think between 120 and 160, again, if they've been maintained and looked after, I don't think you're going to have an issue with it. I mean, when we go to Germany for work stuff, we'll get in a E-Class Mercedes taxi that's got 500,000 kilometres on it. So if you service them and look after them, they will just keep going like any other car. So sure. I don't think you need to worry so much about kilometres, but your point is right. Usually, generally speaking, the lowest kilometres you can afford, so long as it's got a full service history, is the smart way to go.
All right. Thanks, Trent. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so
Good
much,
luck with
James.
it, mate.
Yeah, sounds like a nice little drive, doesn't it? We got Sam.
A lovely car, yeah.
Sam wants to know, if you were going to pick a car, would it be the Mitsubishi Triton Sport or the Tundra Toyota?
Oh, yeah. See, they're very different vehicles, Jade. I mean, look, you know, the head says the Mitsubishi Triton because it's going to cost half as much money to buy, probably half as much money to fuel, and half as much money to run. Mm-hmm. And even though it's a little bit old now, a bit long in the tooth, it's still just a bulletproof, solid, reliable dual cab. But the Toyota Tundra, which we're going to get in 2024, will bring all of the best things of full-size American pickups, but with Toyota badging and Toyota engineering. So at the moment,
like a big
you can
muscle car kind of thing.
effectively with a big ute tray at the back. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
At the moment, you can buy the Ram and you can buy the Chevy Silverado. Ford F-150's coming and Toyota Tundra's coming. So I think once we've got all four to choose from, it's going to be very hard to vote against the Toyota just simply because of the dealer network and the servicing they have in this country.
I don't get these big Ram cars. Why do we want these when cost of living and filling up your car costs so much?
Look, you and I, Jade, could probably, and neither of us are economists, obviously, but you and I could sit here talking about the relationship between the cost of living going up and people just spending stupid amounts of money on cars in this country all afternoon. I don't understand it. I don't really understand. And the American pickups are one part of the market, but, you know, there are people buying $300,000 European cars and Land Rovers and Jaguars and really expensive Lexus and Toyota models as well. I don't quite understand it, except for if you're listening now and you live on the rural fringe, you live outside the city of Adelaide and you do a lot of towing or you do a lot of work where you need to move stuff around, there's not much that you can do it with that's as good as a full-size US pickup. Probably Land Cruiser and Patrol are about the only other two vehicles that you can do it with. But outside of that, aside from because I want one and I can afford it, I don't actually understand why people buy those big things in the city.
No. All right, moving along. We've got another message here. What is the best petrol hybrid compared to waiting times?
Yeah. See, the problem is with petrol hybrids, it's really Toyota first and Daylight second. The one proviso I'd throw in there is if you're looking at a medium SUV, Toyota RAV4 is still the best, but the Nissan X-Trail hybrid, which isn't quite as efficient as the Toyota but is still very impressive, that's probably the one outlier. Everywhere else, whether you're looking at Corolla, Corolla Cross, Yaris or Yaris Cross or Kluger or Camry, it's Toyota and Daylight second. And the problem is, if you're buying a Camry hybrid or you're buying a RAV4 hybrid, you're waiting still, I think, 12 to 18 months, depending on the specification grade. So I can't really give you much good news there, aside to say that the hybrid that Toyota does is the best system out there and still the most efficient. The waiting time is a pain in the bum. So if you're looking in medium SUVs, definitely have a look at the Nissan X-Trail.
Good stuff. All right, we've got to take a super short break. If you'd like to talk to Trent Nikolic, managing editor of drive.com.au, call in now. Please don't wait till the end of the show where we can't fit you in. 8223 0000 is the number to call. Or you can flick me through a text message, 0448 1395.
Every 30 minutes, one Australian loses their life to heart disease. But it takes less than 30 minutes to know your risk. With Heart Week happening now until the 7th of May, you can take 3 simple steps to keep your heart healthy. Get your blood pressure measured, go online to calculate your heart age, or book a heart health check with your GP. Learn more today at heartfoundation.org.au/heartweek.
G'day, Tom Wren here. Greyhounds love to run, and greyhound fans love Thursday nights at Angle Park. For top greyhound racing, a great family atmosphere and the amazing food, Chase's Restaurant is offering a full a la carte menu to ensure you have a fantastic night out. Chips, wedges, through to classics like burgers, fish and chips, schnitties and steaks. Yum! Grab the whole family and get to the park to watch those dogs go. Every Thursday night at Angle Park Greyhounds.
Land has never been more valuable, so make the most of it. If you're building or live on a sloping block, get in touch with Paving SA about retaining walls. Paving SA retaining walls will not only reclaim your land, but they'll look good doing it. Paving SA will take care of everything too, from earth moving to council approval. For paving, retaining walls, earth moving and concreting, say g'day to Paving SA. pavingsa.com.au.
Scroll. 6 KFC original tenders for just $6.95. Shut up and take my money! Oh, that is the perfect crispy arvo pick-me-up.
Not everywhere and not forever. Only on kfc.com.au and KFC app. Pick up only.
Hey there, Jacinta Franklin here. And here. And here. You're probably wondering why 3 Jacintas are reading this ad. It's because of the new Swiss fast-acting vitamin D3. It contains a form of vitamin D that's 3 times more powerful than standard vitamin D. 3 times? So, try Swiss fast-acting vitamin D3 to support healthy bones. Now available at Chemist Warehouse and Coles. Swiss fast-acting vitamin D3 contains calcifediol, which is 3 times more powerful than standard vitamin D, cholecalciferol. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Sounding great. Thanks.
The store-wide savings spectacular is now on at Specsavers. Get any pair with standard multifocals for just $199. Choose from all the frames and all the big designer names, like Tommy Hilfiger, Country Road, Ted Baker, Carlos and Patty, and more. But don't miss out, limited time only. So to save on multifocals, should have gone to Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Have you heard about the sunrise swim banana or the morning stroll banana? The kicking goals banana, the rowing banana, the mowing banana, the frisbee throwing banana? Well, now you have. You see, whatever you think, there's a banana to make your body sing.
$13.95, Adelaide's FIVEAA. This is Jade Robran.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild.
Welcome back to the Motoring Show. We're talking all things cars with Trent Nikolic from drive.com.au. Trent, joining us is Claude on the phone. Hi, Claude.
How you going?
Good, buddy. Far away.
Hi. I got a Suzuki Jimny 4x4 2011. What do you think of those cars? How would you rate that car?
Oh, Claude, I think they're excellent. Yeah, they're fantastic little cars. They work particularly well. They're great off-road. And I think the other thing too is the minute that Suzuki released the updated version of the Jimny that's out now, the current one, the value of all the second-hand ones like yours went through the roof because everybody valued the provenance of them. So, yeah, I think it's a fantastic little vehicle. If you do a bit of just, regular off-roading, driving on the beach, doing a bit of stuff in the state forest or whatever, they're basically unstoppable. They're fantastic.
I'll tell you the best part about them. When it comes to fuel, they're really good. when it comes to, all vision round vision, they're really great.
Yep.
When it comes to parking, they're fantastic. It's
Claude,
got everything going
what you're
for it.
saying there, mate, what you're saying there is true of, it's funny, I've been driving around a 1984 car for the last couple of weeks, won't bore the listeners with why, but what you're saying is true of older cars. The visibility, the glass house, the pillars are a lot thinner, so the actual visibility around the whole car is better. But the other factor as well, one of the reasons they're so good on fuel is not just the fact that they've got good engines and good gearboxes, it's because they're so light. Comparatively, cars that are 10 or 15 years old or older are so much lighter than a current car. Like a four-door sedan from the 1980s weighs less than a Toyota Corolla does now. So I think that, the fact they're a lot lighter means they're a hell of a lot more fuel efficient. That's true.
Another great thing, if you got bad legs or sore legs or whatever back from it, you just slip in, you slip out, It's sort of like low cars, you got to bend down and then, you got to get out, right? It can be blue murder sometimes.
Yeah, 100%, mate. We talk a lot. It's funny, it might sound silly to you and I, but there'll be people listening nodding their head. We get asked at Drive all the time, people, and age is irrelevant, really. It's not about age, but we get asked by people who've got bad hips, bad knees, issues with their lower back. They want to know about cars that have got that sort of really neutral hip height, we call it, which is the way to get in and out of the car and where the seat height is. And something like your Jimny is a perfect example. The seat is just at that perfect height to almost just step out of the car. It's great.
Yeah, I know. Well, thank you. It's nice talking to you, mate. You have a good day, all right?
You too, mate.
See you, buddy.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. And if you would like to talk to Trent, give us a call. 8223 0000 is the number to call. Now, I have asked for some more information, but see how we go here. Hi, Jade. I've got a 70s Holden from my son-in-law. What does Trent think it's worth? Lots of shonky offers below 2K. Here we go. Tirana sedan, it is.
Yeah, so a 70s Tirana sedan is not worth less than $2,000. I think that's fair to say. What I'd probably do is I'd contact either Shannon's, which I've told your listeners about before, Jade. So Shannon's are the big insurance company. They do a lot of classic vehicle auctions. And there's also a really long-serving business that's been down there in South Australia for a long time. I think it's called Bennett's Classic Auction. They sell a lot of those kinds of vehicles. Probably contact those guys as well and just ask them, because you'll get a fair evaluation from either Shannon's or Bennett's, and then you'll know where you stand from there.
Great. I hope that helps, Simon. He sent a photo through, and it's this beautiful, like, sort of midnight blue colour. It's
lovely.
It's gorgeous.
Lovely.
All right, we've got Mick on the line. Hi, Mick.
G'day. I've just asked a question about the Subaru electric ones that are coming out. Have you got any thoughts on them?
Which electric ones, mate? Which ones specifically?
The Subaru is supposedly bringing out an electric car, and it's supposed to be coming out midway through this year. And they're out in America, but they're not here yet. And I just wondered.
That's right. Yeah, we won't drive them till probably about a month before they go on sale, mate. So it's, on paper, any of those new electric cars, they look impressive. What's important for us is once we get them into Australian environment, we test drive them here and get a sense for how they perform on our roads. That's the most important thing. So stay tuned to drive.com.au, obviously, and then as soon as we get behind the wheel, we'll be able to tell you what we think of it.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks, Mick. And from Mick, we go to Mark in Glenelg. Hello, Mark.
How you going there? Just my wife's looking at a car to tow a caravan, and she's looking at two choices: ML 200 Mercedes or a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Now they're both about 10, 15 years old.
Yes.
Which one would you recommend?
Look, I think if they've got a full service history and they've both been looked after and serviced properly as per the book, I'd probably go with the Jeep Grand Cherokee for that purpose. The ML will do it, but it's got to work a little bit harder to do the same job. So for me, I think second-hand of that vintage, so long as they've both been serviced and looked after, if it was my money, I'd go Jeep Grand Cherokee.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
And then, I'm going to ask probably a girly question. What colour are they?
One's grey and the other one's white.
I like the white one. Which one's the white one?
The Mercedes.
There, see? Oh, I lose. Thank you, Mark, very much. Let's go to Sam now in Seaton. Hello, Sam.
Good afternoon, Trent, and good afternoon. In relation to electric cars, especially there's a lot more Teslas around. Trent, how long have they been in Australia?
Oh, geez, you're testing me now. Let's say 8 years, mate. Yeah, let's say 8 years. Yep.
Would you be buying a 6, 7, 8-year-old Tesla, not knowing what the warranty on batteries will be on how long?
Yeah, you know what, mate? I love the question, and one of the reasons I love doing these radio shows is because people like you are asking questions like that, and the answer is no, I wouldn't. I've had a look at. I thought about buying a second-hand electric car just so I could do some testing myself, because it's very hard, obviously, to get access to old vehicles, because at Drive I can't just say to, Mercedes-Benz, can you give me a 20-year-old car? I've looked at second-hand Nissan Leafs and also second-hand Mitsubishi i-MiEVs, which were basically the first two EVs on sale in Australia in any number. And the problem is they're 10 years old. They're cheap enough to buy, but they're 10 years old and they've got half the range that they had when they were new. Now, Teslas are not that bad, but my concern is if you buy a 10 to 15-year-old Tesla in a few years' time, and it originally had a 500k range and now it's got a 250k range, you've either got to live with the 250-kilometre range or you've got to replace the battery pack, which is somewhere in the region of $10,000 or $12,000 at current prices. So I think there's going to be a real problem when we've got a whole host of second-hand electric vehicles on the market, because I think what you're going to see is people who are doing it tough, and it could get worse if interest rates keep going up, people who are doing it tough who don't have the money to go and buy a brand new car. And in Australia, we sell 1 million new cars every year, but there's 20-something million people living in the country. So there's plenty of people who are not driving a brand new car. If you can't afford a brand new car when we're full EV, you're going to be left buying a fairly heavily compromised second-hand electric vehicle that just doesn't do what it did when it was new. And I think that's a real concern that governments and advocates and the electric vehicle bodies and all of that, they don't want to talk about it, but I think it's a very real issue.
So, if I may ask, if they are sitting in the car yard for some years and they haven't been driven, that will exacerbate the problem, because, like most batteries, if you don't charge them regularly, you actually reduce their longevity and reliability, I'm guessing.
You're spot on, mate. You're spot on. Ideally, from the research we've seen, the way the batteries work the best is if you operate them between about 20% at the bottom end and 80% at the top end. So obviously you don't want to run them completely flat for obvious reasons, and they don't like always being charged up to 100. But if you operate them between 20 and 80, and you have to cycle through them regularly. Now, this is common to cheaper items. Like if you've got a cordless drill in the garage and you use it once every 6 months, that battery won't last as long as your neighbour who's a tradie who uses it every day. And it doesn't make sense, but that's the way battery technology works. So you're absolutely right. If they're sitting around and they're unsold, unused, not driven enough, it is going to impact on the battery effectiveness, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam, very much. We've got a message from Alan. He wants me to ask you if you know much about tyres. So how much for tyres for EV, and do they last longer than normal tyres?
No, they don't last longer than normal tyres, Jade. And how much they cost is how long is a piece of string, I guess, depending on the brand that you buy. However, they won't last longer than normal tyres, largely because EVs are a lot heavier. So EVs being a lot heavier than a regular car. So if you're talking about a medium SUV and then an electric medium SUV, the electric one's going to weigh a lot more than the regular one. So you need, generally speaking, they've got more specific tyres for electric vehicles that are designed for low rolling resistance to make them as efficient as possible. So they could be a little bit more expensive to buy, and they generally won't last as long.
Okay, we've got, hi, just wondering what Trent thinks of the Haval Jolyon. Looking at a new car for my 16-year-old, want 5-star, and for the value for money, I can't seem to beat it. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, it's a good point, Megan. Look, Haval Jolyon's a good thing, especially for a first-time driver in terms of the safety. I really like that idea. I think where you've got an option to buy a new car with full 5-star safety rating as opposed to, say, a 4 or 5-year-old car that's not going to be anywhere near as safe now it's a bit older. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think as a first car for someone to get started, I reckon it's a good option, certainly cost-effective.
Okay, cool. Well, that is a wrap for today's show. You've been very popular, Mr. Trent. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jade.
Have a great afternoon. Trent Nikolic there, and you can jump onto drive.com.au to check out plenty more stories and also cars that they've cast their eye over. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to find out what's happening in the world of sport and also baby brain. Did you get baby brain when you were pregnant? Maybe you're pregnant now and have baby brain. And fellas, guess what? You can get it too.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
David Bruce with the latest news headlines. The state government has announced the former Franklin Street bus station will be developed to create 2 towers containing 392 apartments. Australia is getting ready to introduce world-first laws which could see recreational vaping banned. Interest rates are going up again for the 11th time in just 12 months, up to 3.85% from 3.6%. And West Coast has joined Collingwood in supporting an Indigenous voice to Parliament. The 5AA forecast showers easing tomorrow, a top of 18. Currently, it's 18. More news at 4, and as it happens on 5AA.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Now more than ever, you need an agent who's not just out for a quick sale. You need someone who can stand their ground to ensure you're maximising your home's potential. There's a good reason Toop and Toop is defying market trends and continuing to deliver premium outcomes for its clients. With a history spanning almost 40 years and a team of unrivalled experience, Toop and Toop knows what it takes to maximise your results in any selling conditions. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Budget car and truck rental make life easy. Whether you need to move equipment, furniture, fresh produce or people, you'll find the widest variety of vehicles at competitive prices at Budget Car and Truck Rental. With 7 convenient locations across the metro area, plus regional locations, you'll find a budget near you. So if you're moving out or in, taking a load to the tip or going on a big trip, do it with Budget Car and Truck Rental. Call 13 27 27. That's 13 27 27.
You possibly won't find Australia's largest range of rollers, spare parts and accessories for sliding doors and windows at your local hardware store. I mean, I guess you could try, but nah. Instead of wasting time, how about you save time? Visit rollerco.com.au. Because spare parts for sliding doors and windows is what we do. Our warehouse is full of them. rollerco.com.au. We'll get you rolling.
If you're feeling as though you have a cold coming on, it might be worth $500. That's what you'll be paid for your time in an Adelaide clinical trial with Fusion to help find relief from the common cold. If your symptoms have appeared within the past 36 hours, you'll qualify and receive a nasal spray to use for 5 days. How easy is that? Interested? Search Fusion Trials Common Cold Treatment or visit fusiontrials.com.au to apply.
Our monuments to life are so important. That's why Adelaide Memorials offers a memorial and monument restoration service. Specialising in marble and granite memorials, Adelaide Memorials can repair, add and match all inscriptions to existing memorials, including cleaning and repainting. Adelaide Memorials can also upgrade current headstones with photos, candle holders, bronze plaques and embellishments to complete your loved one's memorial. Keep their memory fresh and alive. Visit adelaidememorials.com.au.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Oh, yeah.
Timmy G,
Late
get him
night
down.
Late night requests.
I like dulcet tones.
Yes.
Welcome back to Afternoons. It is not
Late night evenings.
No, it is not. And we are on the Foodland Supermarkets live stream, so you might have seen us just boogie a little bit then.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, okay, what's happening in the world of sport?
Well, I think the number one thing is Tasmania is all but official.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
going
cool.
to
What's
happen.
happened today?
Well,
They all said yes.
They've all said yes.
Ah,
All the
good
clubs
on them.
are on board. They've given it the stamp of approval, which is great, so they can move forward. Still, you won't probably see them kick a ball in anger till 2028.
28. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So
There was talk of 26.
part
but
of the
28.
development, well, you got to have the stadium
So
and the like,
true.
and then get it set up and the
The
like.
players.
And it gives them time to develop their own talent too, because say you are 13 years of age today, you could be in their first draft.
Wow.
So
That's
they'd
pretty
start-
cool for kids
Yeah.
at school today.
Well, you can go and invest in some money and training programs and you name it, and get that right up to speed, and then give them some sort of moratorium on Tasmanian selections. That could be
Wow.
one way of looking at it. So yeah,
Because
so
they
there's
have
that.
had some phenomenal talent come out, don't get me
Absolutely.
wrong, but probably not enough.
Yeah, and this is part of it. It's fast tracking and
Yeah.
developing the local talent. So yeah, so that will be on the cards. But probably the most pressing issue is what to call them.
I know. And the obvious one is the Tassie Devil. But today, which is very, very, well, it's thrown a bit of a curly one out there, a bit of a curveball, because the Tassie Devil, the name, it's been, what is it? It's
Trademarked.
owned, it's trademarked by Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Because of this little fella.
Oh, step lively, mates. That there's a Tasmanian devil, the most vicious animal in the old blinking world. What's cooking?
The Tasmanian devil's on the loose. Run, run, run for your life.
Beware of the Tasmanian devil, a vicious, ravenous brute with powerful jaws like a steel trap. Eats aardvarks, ants, bears, boars, cats, bats, dogs, hogs, elephants, antelopes, pheasants, ferrets, giraffes, gazelles.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, that is a bit of a curveball, but as I read the article here, the AFL uses the Tasmanian Devils name for its under-18 side in the Coates Talent League. So it's registered under a trademark through the Australian government. So I wonder whether that could be the loophole.
There might be a loophole, but that team wouldn't be commercially benefiting from the name, and that's why it probably isn't an issue today.
Come on, Mr. Warner Brothers, you have to hand it back.
Yeah,
What else could they be called?
Well, there was a fish and chip shop in, I think, and I'm just trying to remember, it might have been in Sydney, called, may even been here actually, and it was called Little Mermaid or something.
Yeah.
And it had, a picture of Nemo or something on the outside, and
Oh, yeah, I
and
remember
Disney closed it down.
Yes.
A fish and chip shop.
I know, come on.
And that's
we
what I
can
mean.
all
That's
coexist.
That's how big they can be. So if this was to be a commercial venture where they made money off of, the outfits and all the paraphernalia that goes with it,
Yeah.
I think they'll step in and close it. So
100% they would, because there'd be millions and millions to be made
if
through
you look at the
this.
last two franchises, though, it was the Giants.
Suns and Giants.
They're not
Uh,
traditional names, are they? So
No.
you want something
Yeah, but
that's
the Gold
definitely...
Coast Suns. Like,
Yeah.
I would want to buy a T-shirt with a sun on it. I
but
mean,
it's very US, isn't it?
Very.
And that's the thing about it is, will they go with a similar name like that? Port Adelaide did it with the Power.
yeah.
So
yeah, true.
it wasn't your standard bird or some sort of mascot that you're used to. So
Someone's just messaged in frying Nemo.
and that could have been the name actually. I think that
Oh,
might have been
was
it.
it?
I think
Oh.
that might have been it with the
That's
image
mean.
of Nemo.
Oh, poor Nemo.
Yeah.
We've got Rick in Norwood on the
Don't
line.
knock until you try it.
Hello, Rick.
Hey guys, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
That's good. I reckon the new name for the Tassie team is really obvious,
Yeah, go
and
for
I reckon it flows well. The ferry between Melbourne and Tasmania is called the Tasmanian Spirit.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they be just the Tassie Spirit?
Yeah, Rick.
Because they've probably got the trademark and they won't
Yeah, there
hand
might
it
be an
over.
issue there, but actually John Blake came in last night and said
Mm.
exactly that. He
Oh,
said,
really? I didn't hear that, sorry.
No, he did it off air, Rick. He did it off air. So
Oh, off air,
Yeah,
okay.
he came in at the end
Great
of the
minds
sports show.
think alike, eh?
Yeah, how's that? So he suggested the Spirit as well, which,
I
if,
like
if
that.
anything, it would actually promote the ferry.
Mhm.
I think that would be it'd be a hand in
They
hand.
could be the
but it
major
also-
sponsor. There we
Yeah, and
go,
I think
we've
it's a
solved
good,
it.
it's a good footy name. You know,
Yeah, absolutely, Rick.
Lots of spirit.
Correct. You're supposed to show spirit. I like it.
That's it.
I think that's a great idea, Rick. In fact, we love it so much, we're going to send you a couple of Wallace Cinema
well done.
passes. Thank you very, very much.
done, mate.
If you want to call in and put the name up, 8223 0000. Okay, so talking AFL.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have Josh Carr reviewing the Port game coming up against the Bombers. Another big challenge for them. Got Scott Camporeale coming in.
Nice.
He's going to just debrief on what happened with the Adelaide Crows last quarter and how
Well, they didn't
how
kick
that,
straight. There you go.
That's pretty much how they lost that one, without a doubt. And then he's got some of the issues he'll cover off as well. We got the coach Tanya Obst of the Thunderbirds, who are flying at the
cool.
moment.
Yeah,
they beat the
are.
undefeated West Coast Fever, then they knocked off Collingwood by 5. So they're in real good form and right up there with a chance this year.
Good
Big
on
show.
you. Awesome. Thank you so much,
Hooroo.
Timmy G. Ooh, and we've got Andy, who's called in from Ferryden Park. Have you got an idea of what to call the Tassie team?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Andy.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I reckon they should be called the Tassie Crays because they got crayfish all around the place and it just makes sense.
I like it. I don't mind it at all. The Tassie Craze. And then Jim has messaged saying the Tassie Thunder. Well, they sound mean. Wouldn't want to mess with the Tassie Thunder. What are we going to call this new Tassie team? 8223 0000. And we have Yvonne in Mintaro on the line. Hello, Yvonne.
Hi, Jade. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So, Jade, I just wanted to ring in. You had someone text in before mentioning that they hadn't had a holiday for many years and only dreamed about a holiday.
Oh, yes.
So I thought that was a lovely text, and that I think they said they had an 18-year-old and only dreamed of a holiday. We've got accommodation in the Clare Valley in Mintero and Clare. So I'm wondering whether you could give that person my phone number, and we'd be happy to give them a holiday in the Clare Valley coming up.
Oh, wow, Yvonne. That is so beautiful. Thank you very much. You're going to make that person's whole year. Like, wow. Tell us all about your place.
So we've got accommodation. We're called Riesling Studios. We've got 2 B&Bs in Clare called Donnybrook Cottages. And in Mintero, we have Irongate Studio, and we've renovated the historic Mintero Post Office. And that's also accommodation. So, yes, we enjoy what we do, but we certainly enjoy giving back. So I would be very happy to provide these people with a holiday.
Oh, you gorgeous, gorgeous person. Thank you so much. And for anyone else listening out there, can they find you on Airbnb?
Yes, we're on Airbnb, booking.com, and our website is just look up Riesling Studios and you'll find us.
Oh, you're a gorgeous, gorgeous person. Thank you so much. I'm going to put the two of you in contact and we'll make sure we get some photos from the weekend and pop them up on our socials. But thank you. That's very kind of you.
No worries, Jade. All the best.
You too. Thank you, Yvonne, very much. And we've got Graham in Kadina on the line with a Tassie team name. Hello.
Yeah, how about calling them the Apple Munchers?
Well, yeah, like apple something maybe, yeah. Do you know, I reckon our Adelaide Hills apples are better.
Oh, for sure.
They are better tasting. Apple Munchers. All right, well, I'm going to write all of these down, send them to Gil and Dill, and they can decide on some names. We're going to take a really short break. Back soon.
5AA's Weekend of Footy, thanks to EcoVantage. Install an energy-efficient heat pump with EcoVantage. Pump your energy bills down. EcoVantage.com.au.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Looking for a job or career advice? Don't miss the Careers and Employment Expo, Adelaide Showground, May 12 and 13. Entries free. Details kjex.com.au.
Gents, have you got the urge to pee again, even though you only just went? Caruso's Pee Less for Men relieves that annoying gotta pee again feeling and helps support healthy bladder and prostate function. So, if your need to pee all the time is getting in the way of enjoying life, try Caruso's Pee Less today. Caruso's Pee Less is made in Australia, comes with a money-back guarantee and is available from leading pharmacies and health food stores. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores, from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Every 30 minutes, one Australian loses their life to heart disease. But it takes less than 30 minutes to know your risk. With Heart Week happening now until the 7th of May, you can take 3 simple steps to keep your heart healthy. Get your blood pressure measured, go online to calculate your heart age, or book a heart health check with your GP. Learn more today at heartfoundation.org.au/heartweek.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
Jade Robran, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Welcome back to the program. It is 3:47 on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Little bit chilly. The cooler months are well and truly amongst us, aren't they? So great news for Tasmania. The footies, AFL's 19th team, it has been given the big thumbs up. I believe all the big execs will be jumping on a plane either this afternoon or tomorrow, and I'll make a big announcement to announce it to the world that Tasmania will have a team. The obvious name is the Tassie Devils, but well, there's a slight hiccup because Warner Brothers, they've broke. Well, they kind of own the name. They've trademarked the name, all thanks to this little fella here.
Oh, step lively, mates. That there's a Tasmanian devil, the most elephants, antelopes, pheasants, ferrets, giraffes, gazelles.
Elect Andrew Dillon, he's going to plan on allowing the Tassie people, the people of Tasmania, to choose the name of the new team. But we thought, okay, let's throw it out there. What should we call the new AFL Tasmanian team? Danny has called in. Hey, Danny, what do you think?
Hey, Jade, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm getting there. I think I sound a bit snotty, though, today.
Oh, that's good. Hey, I can't see, there's no reason that Tasmania can't use the Tassie Devils. Seeing as the Tassie Devil was discovered in 1877 and then further protected in 1941, and the Tasmanian Devil, as we see in the cartoon, was created in 1954. So I think Australia has a right to the Tasmanian Devil regardless of any ridiculous copyright try to put up by some corporation.
I think, look, I like where you're going with that, but I feel like modern commercial agreements will just, the lawyers in America will bombard them and say, nah,
Well,
sorry,
if
can't
they
do
can
it.
do that, I can copyright my name.
Yeah, don't mind it. Thank you, Danny. And Andrew, how are you?
G'day, Jade. It's a culture vulture from Craigmore here.
Oh, love it. G'day, mate.
How about the Tassie Blue Gums? They stand tall and proud and can weather anything.
Hey, I like it. And they're everywhere. That's a
They
very
are.
Tassie thing.
They're magnificent trees.
Uh-huh. I don't mind it. Hey, would you get down to Tassie if they, not if, but now that they're going to have a team?
Oh, look, mate, I've got disability and that, but I just love listening to 5AA. It keeps me company all day and a lot of the night. And if I could, I would to fish, but unfortunately, that's it for me, mate.
Nice. Thank you very much, Andrew. And we've got Claude. Hello, Claude.
Hi. Look, if you can't call them the Tassie Devils, right?
Mm.
How about the Tasman Devils? Tasman. They are the man.
Ah, okay. Well, what if they bring in a women's team?
Well, call it the Tas Girls Devils. I don't know.
I've thrown a spanner in the works there, haven't I? It's
All right.
super exciting, though. Who do you support?
What, in football? Oh, I like Port Adelaide and the Crows, you know,
Yep.
because I'm South Australian.
Yep. And they could be your third team, do you reckon?
Well, I don't know who they're going to be made up of. They're going to be Tasmania or... Like, all teams now, like, you know, they get good players from other teams, you know, and, you know, and I would love it if, you know, when you play for a team when you're young and you play for that team till you retire.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There's no this trading off and, you know what they do. And that gives the game more, you know.
Well, they're not going to have enough players to field the full team. They'll have enough players, but depth of talent to field a team in that first couple of years. So you'd say that, yep, for sure, there'll be a majority from Tassie, and then they'll recruit from all around Australia, take it to the draft like they always do. I would imagine. Let's go to Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Jade. Have you had the convicts?
No, not yet. It was only a matter of time.
Well, I think the convicts, when they break the shackles, they'll head over to the mainland and kick those colonialists in the arse.
Love it. Thank you, Scott. Let's go to Steve. What do you reckon, Steve?
Well, how about the sharks? I mean, there's plenty of them around Tasmania too.
Yeah, don't mind it. And good merch as well with a shark.
Yeah.
Don't mind. There's is there an NRL team called the
Yeah,
Sharks?
there is. Cronulla.
Cronulla Sharks, there you go.
But hey, we're miles away from Cronulla.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't matter at all. I reckon we could have the Sharks.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
I think that sounds good.
I think it sounds very good, Steve. Thank you. Stay on the line. We'll send you a couple of Wallace Cinnamon passes. And let's go to Waikerie, beautiful part of the world. Hello, Jeff.
How you going? I was wondering why they don't just call themselves the Tasmanian Tigers.
Oh, well, no, you can't because of Richmond.
Well, then they could, the commentator could call them the Tassies as they're commentating.
Could, but no, that is not going to get through, I don't think. That will just be a whole lot of confusion. We have Peter in Glenelg. What do you think they should be called, Pete?
Oh, just to avoid the copyright, why not just call them the Tassie Devils?
Oh yeah, instead of Tasmanian Devil. Hey. Well, actually, that's a good point. I wonder what they've got trademarked, whether it's Tasmanian or Tassie. What if they...
They wouldn't have Tassie.
No, they wouldn't have Tassie. Hey,
No.
I reckon you might have found a little loophole. Look at you
It'd
guys.
fit well with us, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what? Being Aussies, we're not going to ever call them the Tasmanian Devils, are we? We'd always call them the
that's right.
Tassie
We
Devils.
shorten everything. So finish that being the Tassie Devils anyhow.
There we go. Problem solved. Peter from Glenelg has solved it for everyone. But in case he hasn't, Gary, what do you think?
I'm possibly thinking, why are we limiting it? Why can't we call it Hobart something? And then in the future, another 20, 30 years' time, there could be a Launceston team.
Oh, I don't think
Because
that's
we
going
wouldn't
to
have
fly.
called the Adelaide Crows in the beginning the South Australian something.
No, but I mean, we called them the Crows, though, didn't we? Because it was it represents the state, sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was Adelaide Crows. If it was South Australian Crows, then we wouldn't have been able to get Port Adelaide in.
Yeah, no. Good point. Very good point. Bazza, what are your thoughts?
I reckon the two-headed Taswegian.
Oh, do you know what, Bazza? I've actually got a very funny text that's come through, and I am going to read it because Rob is from Tasmania. He has a bit of a laugh to himself. He says, "Now, guys, I say this being born and bred Tassie, but I can laugh at myself. I've always said I enjoy a cuddle with my sister, but I don't touch sheep as I'm not a sicko. So call the Tassie team the siblings." That's a bit wrong, isn't it? Hello, Steve.
Hello, Jade. I got two for you, just
Yeah.
quickly. Why don't you just call them, number one, the Tasmanian, and number two, the Tassie Thunder, and you could sing that along, the Tassie Thunder from down under.
Yeah. Don't mind, and you could play Thunderstruck. Like, there's a whole lot of fun we could have with that.
Sure.
Like it. I like that. Very good. And we've got Julian on the line. Hi, Julian.
Hello, how are you? I was just thinking, could we call them the Extinct Devils?
Oh, well, you could. You could. That could get around it a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Julian, very good. We've got also, Jade, what about the Tassie Lumberjack or Tassie Penguins? And then another one here, the mighty Tasmanian Salmon. Well, they are known for their salmon. Last one here, we've got Rick in Elizabeth. Hello, Rick. What are you thinking?
Well, I did think about the Tasmanian tiger snakes, but what about the Tasmaniacs?
Yeah, that'd fire them up.
Wouldn't it?
Oh, very good. And then I've got another one here, the Hobart Hurricanes. That's from Will. Oh, look, I reckon they will. I reckon they'll have, the AFL will somehow have to find a way to do the Tassie Devils, surely. So many great suggestions there, guys. Thank you so much. That's a wrap. We've got the sports show coming up next. Thank you so much for tuning in and for company this afternoon. Have a good one, and I'll be back tomorrow. See you later.
If you're feeling as though you have a cold coming on, it might be worth $500. That's what you'll be paid for your time in an Adelaide clinical trial with Fusion to help find relief from the common cold. If you're